the fatherhood, or what ones would call the patriarchal. You might be familiar with this in terms of matriarchal, patriarchal. But the way that these subject matters have been presented is vastly different from the way that they were intended. Now, true, the motherhood was known. In other words, one would, generally speaking, know who their mother is. You understand? It's not hard to recognize that that child was born from that woman. If he was there, those witnesses, one saw it. But now the question often is, who is the father? Now we know a whole lot of drama, both in art and in ancient poetry, modern films and books, all surround itself, even religion, if you look at it. If we talk about the Bible, a lot of it surrounds basic interpretations and practices concerning family relations and how these are interpreted. I saw a page in Gerald Macy's lectures that was interesting when he was discussing Paul and Paul's interpretation of Christ, and you could say Paul's epistles and Paul's gospel, which seems to bring in the male wisdom, in a sense, as kind of superseding the female wisdom, or bringing in that father and that male aspect. And then something came to me. We are all born, right, initially from a woman who's our mother. All of us, unless you test tube, but if you're born before a certain date, then most likely you came through your mother's womb, right? Now here's the thing that was interesting. But then there's a second birth. You see what I'm saying? So that's the motherhood being recognized. But there's a second part of the birth. You see, you understand, when the family was together, and this is interesting because this links directly to the heart of the whole Adam-Eve story. You see, the whole Adam-Eve mythology and story, and you'll find it in the book of Adam and Eve, where Adam and Eve, you can see this separation began between them. There was this great separation. Now, some people would say this is actual history, and this is a debate that we don't really even get into on those levels anymore, because it's a worthless debate trying to say, well, were they just human beings, or were they just mythology and not human beings? You see, if it's to pull white supremacy's and the counterfeit Christianity's wig back, as Gerald Macy did, well, of course, it's not historical, not in the sense of white supremacy and counterfeit Christianity. But since these ideas emanated out of Africa, this is what's interesting, and even many of these ideas can still be found in one form or fashion in Africa and Africans at home and abroad, it would behoove us to investigate it a little more deeply, a little more thoroughly, and to find that half of the story that we wasn't told before, but we have the opportunity now to learn for ourselves.